Hey people, welcome to another vlog. And we're back into small project week number 2. Last week we left you with the stone pillars. And you can see I got eye bolts in them. Got 2 eye bolts each side of the pillars on all 7 pillars. Now our next step, or this segment, we're supposed to be getting started, getting the rope and stuff cut, and how I was going to mount them to the poles. Got a quick, semi-quick change to the plans, put it that way. Originally, when I bought these, I had originally planned on buying 8 of them. You know, and we went out and took the measuring tape out, and sure enough, I did need 8. You know, took a count on, you know, where these were going to set at and stuff. Problem is Costco ran out. I talked to the store manager and they said they weren't going to get any more in. Well, I was down at Costco today picking up some groceries. I mean, we got to eat once in a while. I got to keep my girlish good looks going. But they had a whole nother pallet full of them. So I picked up one more. So before we get going doing the rope on these guys, I'm going to sit down and get the eyelets, get that one out of the box, get the eyelets into it and stuff, so it's, you know, basically ready for the rope just like those. Now also, you'll notice when we closed out the last vlog, I had 2 bags sitting here. I got more bags. I picked up pretty much the last of them. I think there's maybe like 1 or 2 little items I still need to get. I picked up the last of the stuff I needed to do the rest of my little small projects. So we get the rope done. We're going to be moving into some other small projects. And probably won't be much footage on because there's really not all that much to show, but we'll give you a little bit of a look so you can see what's going on. Next step is I need the rope that's going to go from eyelet to eyelet in between the different towers, which I got. I bought 2 different bags of it because we weren't sure exactly how much rope we were going to need, because I wasn't sure what my lengths were going to be between the pillars yet. And we do use this in other areas of hunt as well, so having the extra doesn't hurt. But we got the rope, and it's a yellow nylon rope. You get down in a 50-foot and 100-foot lengths. This is a 100-foot length. And then I could just take the end of the rope, thread it through, and tie it, you know, and be done with it. Problem is, when we go to put this away, I'd have to untie it. I wanted something quicker. I'm going to sit there middle of the night, especially if the knots get wet, if it's raining, trying to untie nylon rope. So we decided to go this way. We got these little clips. So I'm going to need to, and they'll hold 70 pounds, which is, you know, if anyone put 70 pounds on that, those things are going to fall over. But basically now what I've got to do is I've got to take my rope, measure it out with a little extra to the length I need, and then tie it onto the hooks, and the hooks should be good to go. Took a little longer than I thought to get the ropes done, but I got them done, all but 2. When I originally bought the hooks to go on the end of these ropes, I was kind of guesstimating. We weren't exactly sure how we were going to do it. We were thinking about maybe just tying one end to one of the pillars and having the hooks on the other end. That way the ropes would be permanently attached to, you know, at least one pillar. And I was flip-flopping about putting hooks on both ends. So I just grabbed a bunch of hooks off the rack. I had enough to do all. We decided to put double hooks, or at least I decided to put double hooks. Creative license there on my part. And so we got hooks on both ends. Now what I ended up doing is I wanted an 8-foot gap between the pillars. So I ended up measuring the rope out at 9 feet instead of 8. And then on both ends, you can see I got a line there on the line. That is 6 inches from the end. And we just put the hook on and then tied our knot, you know, around the hook. And we did that on both ends, which gave us these here. And as you can see, I got knots, and I could trim that off if I wanted to and melt it down. And I probably will eventually at some point in time. Right now, I am not too worried about it. But I got all the pillars put away except for 3. I thought you'd want to see the finished look. So there you go. You can see the rope between them. Now the rope is a little saggy. And that's because of the ground. The ground out here is very uneven, and if I try to get these taut, the skulls want to wobble and stuff. When we have them set up out on the queue line, they're going to be sitting on hard, level surfaces, so I won't have that problem. I'll be able to get a little bit tighter fit. But gives you an idea. It looks like a three-sided boxing ring, doesn't it? So, and get these put away, and that's another small project done. Now I've got quite a few other small projects. I bought parts for today, and we'll go into those once I get this mess picked up. Okay, next mini project's a semi-combo project, but it's another air-driven thing, and I got a bunch of my miscellaneous parts that I was missing. These are to do a 3-tap manifold. In other words, that piece, when completed, will look like this dusty one from last year. It's got 3 arrow hoses, and it takes 1 arrow hose and divides it into 3. I've got 3 of them to do, and needed a couple of more just because we're adding more props. Some of the props have numerous fittings and stuff on them, what have you. So I gotta get those assembled. And then these are actually for another project I'm not doing right away, but I took them out of the bag anyway. Then I got my regulators for all my new pneumatics I needed, and got several different types. And I've got my inline water feed, like on the yellow air tank over there. I needed one for the black one. So I'm gonna start getting these all threaded up, put together. Oh, and something else. I got some rubber hose here. I'm going to be attaching them to one end on these 2-ways. Get my rat tails assembled. And I've got some assorted size hose clamps I might use on them too. So, got a couple of different projects we're going to be working on. And like with the rat tails, once I get the rat tails put together and stuff, we'll give those a test, see how they work out. About dinner time, I'm going to be calling it quits. We got some work done today. As you saw, it was either the last segment or the segment before. We got the skull towers over there finished. Since then, I've been working on pneumatics, and we got all our regulators and stuff done, including this one, which goes on the black tank. I'm going to put that in as soon as I put the camera down. I also got one manifold done. But I ran into a little bit of a problem. To do the manifolds and another project, I need the female to male ends, as well as the female to male, and that's a female jack there, I realize that. Couplers and a reducer to do the manifolds. I'm out. I didn't buy any because I thought I had enough. So I'm going to have to go down and get some more, and I'll do that tomorrow. I've also got a bunch of PVC pipe fittings here. And these are going to be I'm going to make my own manifold. The 3-ways are nice, but I need one that's going to do 4 to go with the rat tails. So I'm going to be doing that. And that's part of the rat tail project. I could sit here and get the rubber hosing on the for the rat tails. Well, I'll wait and do that tomorrow as well. But anyway, I got things that far. I need to get some spare parts and stuff, so I will do that tomorrow. Hey guys, Smokey Robinson in the background. Tears of the Clown, I think it's called. And if YouTube wants to block me on this one, they know what they can do, huh? Yeah, Tears of the Clown. But I will turn it down a little bit here. I've been out here this morning. I got my errands ran, got the parts I needed. Yesterday we finished with getting the water separator for the black tank and getting the regulators all put together. And I got one of the manifolds put together. And then I was thinking I needed more of these to make that. Got home today and I got to thinking I didn't want to do that, but so I did. It's a 3-port manifold, but what I ended up doing is that female connect, for the airlines, and then I put 2 of the push connects that you use on your solenoids on it. And this one here is actually for the spider display. Since it's going to be sitting right near where the right near the mech and stuff, I'm just going to connect the hoses with a regulator up to this so I can adjust airflow and what have you. You know, make it a little bit easier connecting. I've got an extra port on here in case I need to split off and run an airline someplace else. And then I've also done this one up the same way, except for this one's got 3 of the quick connect. This is going to be for the Pirate Mech, which you haven't seen in full yet, and I'll give you a little bit of demonstration on that one before I go to when I go to wire it up. But so I got that done, and I might reconfigure it yet again. I'm not exactly sure. I'm still thinking on that one, but for right now, that's good enough. Then we went on, and I made my own 4-port manifold with a regulator on it, and I'm going to need that to control these. I've got some air whips here I just got done making. It's rubber hosing on a 2-way air in, air out valve, and I put a little hose clamp on it to help hold it on. And I showed you how I put those. I just put 2 of those nipples on each side for the quick release on the 1/4-inch line. But I've got one rigged up, and I've got kind of cut down to where I need it. And I figured I'd show you what it ended up coming out like. There you go, a working air whip. That prop's, for the most part, complete now. I can put those off to the side. I might adjust this a little bit more. I'm not sure. I'll wait till I get in the haunt. The long ones, leaving them on this long, was just too much. And these will be hooked up to the Scooby-Boo board, so it's only going to be running for a couple of seconds, not like what I did on the demonstration. Okay, been working on the spider prop, and it's part success, part failure. The success has been with getting it to run at all. Let's see. And it goes up, and of course the spider is going to sit up here. Now that I've got the solenoid for that all dialed in, it's hooked up to its regulator. I've got the poundage set. Well, helps if I show you it right. But I got the hosing hooked up to the regulator. The poundage is all dialed in. It's good to go. Now this other regulator runs this little solenoid here, and it goes up to these 2 hoses, which were supposed to come out up here on the platform. And that was going to be for my splitter. I know this segment is really bad. The camera's all over the place. I'm not showing you what I'm talking about. I apologize. But my problem I'm having is with that T. That T goes in here, and then there's another hose that goes up to the platform. The hose that goes from here to here is the air line, and then the water hooks up to here. It's for my splitter. Problem I'm having is the air's coming through and not only going out that way, it's going down this way and blowing air into the water instead of sucking the water up. What I need is I need to find a T, same diameter for a 1/4-inch hosing, with this spigot going out at an angle this way. Problem is, I've been to Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, several nurseries. No one carries a fitting with that downspout going that way. And someone told me today to go down to Ackland Pump and Irrigation. They are a huge firm. They supply all the stores with everything, and they have just about everything you can think of when it comes to pumps and irrigations. And to check with them. They were supposed to be open until 6 o'clock. I got down there at 5:30. They closed at 5. So I'm going to have to go down tomorrow and take a look at, and check them out. In the meantime, about the next step was, after I got the mister and stuff all dialed in and working, I was supposed to get this thing dressed, you know, into its final stage. And since I can't get the mister done, I'm going to go ahead and get the dressing and stuff done on it now, and I can get in there and do this tomorrow, hopefully. If I cannot find that T to go on this part here, I'm going to end, you know, that T there, or the T with the right angle on it, I am going to have to take off the spitter, and we'll go without the spitter for this year. Okay, end of the day, we got the prop dressed. I made some adjustments with it while I had it in the shop. And I'm going to have to make some more adjustments, and I knew I was going to because of the weight of the fabric that my pretty helper over there that you're seeing sewed up. And then the weight of the spider, which really didn't add much weight. I also have to get the spitter figured out on it, but until I can make it down to Ackland's tomorrow, that plumbing place I was telling you about last segment, I won't know if I'm going to have the spitter on there or not. But the pretty set designer Sue can start toggling the switch all the way up and then down, up, down, up. There you go. Now, for the haunt, right now I've got set up to computer power supply, and my set designer was just toggling the switch on the power supply. You know, so there was a delay with the bouncing. With the, in the haunt, we'll have it hooked up to a Scooby-Doo board. So, you know, the reactions will be a little bit different. And like I said, I got to adjust the pressure and everything on it. Take it all the way up and leave it up. There you go. That's not too bad with the rocking, I don't think. I hadn't noticed that when I was doing the testing that was rocking like that.
I just noticed that the tag was sticking up.
Oh, you can't see it from this angle at all. I had a little cleanup to do on it. But I got to make some adjustments. I got to see if I can get that spitter working on it. And then we are going to do a full short vlog on this prop standalone at night and during the day with everything working once it's hooked up to the Scooby-Doo board, which will be a separate vlog from this one. Realized I had not grabbed the camera today. So, good morning. Got out here this morning and we got the pneumatics dialed in, so it's popping up and down at the speed that I wanted at. Spent the rest of the day working on the water spitter, having a hell of a good time. Originally I wanted the hose to go down to a bucket, and that wasn't working too good. I also mentioned about going down to that plumbing place, Ackland's, to get a barbed tee in the shape that I wanted it in. They don't carry them, don't make them, I found out. I spent about an hour and a half last night on YouTube looking for pneumatic spitter videos. I was getting everything but specifically log splitters, not pneumatic spitters. So I did something that I should have done to begin with, because he knew right where to go. I asked Diablo. Jose, thank you, my friend, it helped. In the middle of playing with the spitter and the designing, I had a casualty. I was just going in for lunch, and all of a sudden we hear this pop and a loud hissing noise, and the corner of the skirt was blowing up. And I was like, oh great, I just blew the cylinder. The cylinder blew on me, is what I thought it was. I said the hell with it, came out, unplugged the air from it, went in and had lunch, came back out, and I got lucky. It wasn't the cylinder. And I checked the specs on the cylinder, it's good up to 100 pounds. And I only have it set for 70, so what it was this Harbor Freight regulator that I bought that had the water attachment on it. The nipple down there has a crack in it, and that's what was causing all the noise. So I replaced it with one that didn't have the water separator on it. Hopefully, you know, I don't have any more problems. But it scared the hell out of me, because I thought I was going to have to buy another cylinder, and some of these cylinders are not cheap. But anyway, so we got that taken care of. My bucket idea, I had the spitter working. Problem was with the water line stretched from here all the way down to the bucket, it was taking forever for the water to get up the hose. In which case, this is going to be in the shut-off mode long before the water line filled up. And so I went down, I got me a water bottle down at Freddy's, a nice hard plastic one, but clear. And I've got it zip tied to the frame. And now it triggers almost instantly. I'm going to have that spitter activate twice when it's doing its sequence of going up and down. And the first time it shoots, it's probably only going to shoot air, and then the second time it's going to shoot water. Because the spitter is about 2 to 3 inches above the thing, so the water is draining back down into the receptacle. No hope for it, because I don't want the water receptacle being shown. So, not sure what else to do. Okay, the spider prop is totally finished, ready to go. And we'll get you triggered here in a little bit, and you can see what she does. I do not have the sound hooked up to the board. And I will be doing a separate nighttime video of it, so you'll be able to see what it looks like at night with some green lights on it, or blue, depending on what light bulbs I grab. And that will be a separate video. I'll probably combine it with the other pneumatic mech and put it up together. Okay, here we go. Test number 1. There you go. That's what she does. And like I said, we'll have a separate nighttime video of this with some lights and stuff on it too. And that'll be posted later. Okay, now that the spider is done, it's on to the second mech, which you really haven't had a good look at yet. And this one here is going to be for the Pirate display. And as you can see, the base, the mast, and the 2 bars going down, it's a variation of Pandemic's 2-bar lifter. This one is going to have 3 different actions to it. The main cylinder here is going to lift the whole thing up so it's standing with the knees slightly bent, and I got some rings down here to stake the feet down so the legs don't move. And then once it's standing, it's got a dialogue. The Skelly is going to have a dialogue, and will be holding a sword in his arm here, which will swing out all the way. And he'll probably do a couple of sword swipes with it. But my main thing right now is I need to get the fittings on there, get the airlines ran, and that sort of thing. We've got a skeleton to get attached to it. I'm going to have to do some wonky things with the skeleton. We're going to need to get dressed and what have you. So we're going to get started on it this week, probably finish it next week. Been working on the Pirate mech. And got out here and I made a boo-boo starting right off. I had the mech in this position, in the seated position. And I had wired this up last night for the main cylinder. And I figured, okay, well, I want to get all the cylinders wired because I have 2 up here. So I went ahead and ran all the hosing. And that was a mistake. I should not have done it in the seated position because I had all the hosing cut and attached to the frame and everything. Went to fire that cylinder. She wouldn't stand up. The hose was binding up. So I need to have it in the upright position. So I went and took the hosing off, and I've been spending a little bit of time working on the mufflers and stuff on the solenoid, getting it dialed up. I've got the speed set for its rising motion. My next step is to get these cylinders here in the arm wired. Okay, I've got the camera set up in the tripod, so hopefully you'll be able to get a good view of it. I'm going to trigger the power supply now so you can see it standing up. Okay, I'm not sure if you're getting the full effect in here or not. There you go. Anyway, sorry about that. I had to re-angle the camera. my wife and I worked on the speed on this, and we got it going in the upright position the way we wanted it. Now I need to run the hosing for the arm, and what the arm's going to end up doing is I'm going to have it, the skeletal hand holding a sword coming out the end, and the arm's going to do a swinging motion with it, kind of like that, which is what I've got to get plumbed in now. Going to be interesting, one way or the other. Anyway, like I was saying, I'll have all the plumbing done, all the air lines on the mech done today. We should have all the solenoids tested and set, so everything's moving at the speed that we want it. And then I'm thinking about making a plywood base to attach this thing to, so I can lock everything down without having to worry about trying to stake it when I put it out in the haunt and what have you. Because I have a feeling as this thing moves, it's going to be slowly working the stakes out of the ground. So I think it'd probably be better just to mount it to a sheet of plywood. And I've got plenty of scrap plywood laying around here. I should be able to come up with something. All right, back for another episode. Ran into another problem, and it was my stupidity that caused it again, and it was running the airlines. I've got them all ran. They work fine. The thing sits and rises just fine. The problem I had is with this one here. The little cylinders in the arm have a real tiny thread base that goes into them. They break so easy. I had ran this airline. I had it on the inside here. It hit the fitting that was supposed to go there and snapped it off. Now when you buy these fittings, they come 5 to a pack. I already broke one and also I used up all my fittings, so I'm going to have to order more fittings. I do have this one working though, so I can show you the action on that one. There you go. Now, that's just this end of the arm moving. When I have the other cylinder on, they'll both swing out at the same rate. So, and you'll be holding a sword in that hand. So that's how that looks. I'm done with this. I finished the wiring here a little bit ago. I've been in the process of trying to get my shop semi-cleaned up because I was alerted at lunch we are going to have a very special visitor swinging by for a little bit on his way home to say hello. As many of you know who watch Hellmouse channel, Triv27, Todd, stopped by and they went to a Weird Al concert, and he was there for a couple days visiting. Well, Todd sent me a message today, and I found it when I went in for lunch. I actually got on the computer and checked my email. I hadn't had the computer on all day. He's going to be passing by this way on his way home. He lives in Idaho, I think, or somewhere along there. So he's going to swing by. We're going to visit for a little while. So you'll be getting some footage of Triv. Now with that, back to the prop. What we're going to be working on next is the base. I need to cut a plywood base to mount the stand on and to mount the feet to. Okay, problem fixed. Another problem created. I forgot to turn the radio off. Oh well, let him bleep this section out. I had a piece of press board back in my pile back there. It was the perfect size for what I needed. I didn't have to do any cutting on it. Now I went and took some plumber's strapping and mounted this down so it doesn't rock anymore when it goes up. And instead of using stakes like I originally planned when we were designing it, I just ran a couple of screws up through there. That's 248-3800. Okay, the only reason why you're getting any shaking now is because of the table. And then if you watch the feet, they stay into place. And the nice thing is something happens, I can, take them loose. lift right off. Sorry, you're getting lots of weird camera angles, and I know you're always getting weird camera angles with me, but the more you get more of them this vlog. Anyway, next step for this whole mech is pretty much dressing. I can't do anything pneumatic wise until I get the fitting up in here that I need, which will be next week.
That street confuses me. It's absolutely positively illegal in Wisconsin to park contrary directions and on opposite sides.
Oh geez. Here it's no problem. And our special guest has arrived. You should know him from Hellmouse videos.
Hello.
Triv27, aka Todd. More footage to come, maybe, if you're good. Okay guys, no more footage of Todd. Sorry about that. We had dinner and spent a couple hours talking. He was here for about 3 hours and we just had a ball. It was a real neat experience meeting Triv27. I'm glad you stopped by, buddy. Hopefully next time you're out this way, he lives in Wisconsin. Hopefully next time you're out this way we can get together and hang for a little bit more time. But past that, I'm going to bring the vlog to a close. I got a lot of footage on this camera I'm using right now. I also have some footage of last Saturday's bonfire, and then my wife got some footage of the bubbles that we had at the farmers market Saturday, and plus I've got the footage from it too. I'm going to get everything edited together, and that'll be put on at the after the closing. So there's some bonfire and bubbles, and then the prop building that we did this week. So instead of sitting here rambling and adding another 30 minutes onto the vlog, I'm going to say stay spooky, and for Triv's sake, stay toxic.